Mr. Orozco explained in detail that you had sped up, that you had been kind of weaving in and out of cars, that you were driving in the emergency lane at one point. And you moved into basically like the shoulder of the freeway, not a real lane, but a shoulder to get around him.
No, that's not correct.
That didn't happen?
No.
Okay. Are you positive?
Positive, yeah.
One of the other things that you stated in your complaint is that you were traveling about 25 to 30 miles per hour.
When the accident happened?
Yes.
Yes.
Why so slow on a freeway?
Because with this, the traffic is stuck. Like it have a lot of cars in my front, and I couldn't go anywhere because I was stuck. It was like busy.
It was pretty compacted traffic on the freeway, you're claiming?
Yes.
If the freeway's only moving at 25 miles an hour, you're going to be really late to that appointment, right?
I don't agree.
You thought you could have made it to Santa Monica in 22 minutes?
Yes. No, not 20, like in 1 hour, because the accident happened like 11.
But the police report says it happened at 11:38.
No.
How long after the accident took place did the police arrive?
Maybe 10, 15 minutes.
So even if we assume that that was the time they arrived instead of the time of the accident, that still would have meant the accident took place at about 11:23. So you still would have had to make it to Santa Monica in 30 minutes on a freeway that ain't moving.
Yes.
Judge Corriero.
Mr. Orozco, why were you still on the exit lane
I was trying to merge.
immediately prior to where you had to veer off because of
No, it was way before the veer off.
Oh, that's not according to the diagram.
I disagree.
And
Actually,
you disagree with the police officer's diagram.
Yes, because
She says that the accident occurred
she
at
never
the
even
point
took. She
of-
never even took my statement. She just came to my car and told me what.
Here are the rules. When you're driving in one lane, there's another driver in another lane. Who has the right of way?
The driver in the lane.
The driver to your left.
Yes,
So she had the right of way. Why didn't you give way to her?
because I was passing her.
But obviously, she had the right of way, and if you were passing her, were you aware of where she was?
Yes, to the left of me.
And you believed that you had enough room to pass her?
More than enough room. Yes.
All right, we'll work this out. We'll come to a conclusion.
Uh,
So we're going to excuse you now while we deliberate in this case.
One more thing. I actually have a witness that pulled over to the side, and she actually cut him off.
Where is she, my friend?
I do have a letter.
We have the letter in the exhibit packet. We'll take a look.
But I do have a question. You have no relationship to this witness.
Absolutely not.
The witness submitted it to a law firm that was representing you.
Yes.
And this is somebody you don't know who was just a random person driving on the freeway who provided this statement.
Yes, a random person that she cut off before me. Well, after me, because she cut me off already going onto the freeway when she went into the emergency lane to go around me because I believe she was late for work or wherever she was going, and she was driving very fast.
All right, the parties are excused while we deliberate.
All righty.
Thank you.
Court is now in recess. Doors in the back.
A couple of things that are floating around in my head. I think, legally speaking, I think the officer's conclusion that the defendant was 100% responsible was that he failed to give the plaintiff the right of way when she was on a lane immediately to his left. Whereas I do think that the defendant's insurance company felt that she had the last clear chance to avoid the accident. And therefore, they divvied up contributory negligence on each part, which would mean that she would only get compensated for 50% of the damages to her. I'm leaning towards that.
So am I, especially when I asked the defendant if he agreed with his own insurance company's findings. And he said, maybe not 50%, but I do have some blame.
Some blame. Right.
So, yeah.
He clearly, had he simply just not merged, slowed way down, exited if need be, he could have avoided this problem. He is not blameless.
Right.
But I found her lacking credibility in many respects. She was not driving 25 to 30 miles an hour, according to anybody. And I do believe, by a preponderance of the evidence, that she sped up to cut him off, to block his ability to merge.
So if we conclude that the plaintiff was 50% responsible, that would mean that $935 would be 50% or half of the damages.
So she's also seeking the rental car
So
reimbursement.
would we give her $150 towards the rental?
I think that's fair. It's about $35 a day.
So that would bring
For
us
several
to
days.
$1,085. Essentially a 50-50 split, contributory negligence on the part of the plaintiff as well as on the defendant.
We're agreed.